The security concern it was there. It looks like a mob. You have Greta Thunberg getting arrested. Like, it was so intense. It was crazy. It's an experience of itself. I want to take you back to this moment.
To be honest, it built so much fire in me. At one point, it just lit something up in me, and I was like, yes, yell at me. Say whatever the hell you want.
Welcome to the second semi-final of the Eurovision Song Contest 2024.
The Eurovision Song Contest brings together 26 musical acts from across Europe, plus places like Australia, Armenia, Israel, Morocco, to compete in a big-budget, glitzy, and at times ridiculous musical extravaganza.
Hold it steady.
Over 150 million people watch Eurovision, and they are very invested in it.
243 points! We have a winner!
It's billed as a cultural exchange. Apolitical, good, clean, fun. This year, though, things were a bit different. Amidst the Israel-Hamas War, a campaign was mounted to boycott Eurovision for allowing Israel to participate. 1,000 Swedish musicians, including the pop star Robyn, signed a petition to the European Broadcasting Union, or EBU, they're the ones who put on the show, saying that Israel shouldn't be included this year. In Finland, 1,300 artists signed a similar petition. In Iceland, more than 500 artists signed a petition asking that their entrant pull out because of Israel's participation. Bars announced they wouldn't screen the show in protest. 60 LGBTQ organizations called for a boycott. And this was before anyone even stepped foot on stage. In the lead up to the event, on May 11th, protests broke out in the host city of Malmö, Sweden, drawing thousands, including the environmental activist Greta Thunberg. Thunberg said on X, "We will not accept that a country currently committing genocide is allowed a platform to art-wash themselves." At the center of all of this controversy was Israel's entrant, 20-year-old Golan. Edin's song was initially called October Rain, which referenced the October 7th Hamas attack on her country. It became Hurricane after the EBU requested a rewrite.
This hurricane.
As Israel's competitor, Edin was the target for these protests. During rehearsals for her performances, the arena filled with boos and chants of Free Palestine. Some of her competitors were vocal about their disapproval. The Netherlands' Joos Klein interrupted Edin at a press conference. Greece's Marina Sati pretended to be asleep while she was speaking. Ireland's Bambi Thug confessed that she cried when Edin made it through to the final round of the competition. In the end, Edin finished in 5th place and 2nd when it came to the public's televote, which suggests more widespread support for her than the boycotts and protests would suggest. I sat down with Edin in New York in her first major interview in the US to find out how it felt to be in the middle of this firestorm. Edin Golan.
Hi.
How are you?
Wow, I'm good.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me here. It's such a pleasure.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't follow Eurovision. I think of it like soccer. It's something that happens in Europe. I know you all care about it very much, but it's not for me. It looks like a gay Olympics. It looks amazing, but it's not like a little bit it is. Yeah. But this year, obviously, I could not look away. And that was because of you. It was because of your performance. It was because of your stamina, honestly, your kind of grace under pressure. And I want to take you back to this moment. This is a video that I saw on Twitter that I was like, oh my God.
Well, that happened in every single performance. There were some days where it was more extreme. But basically, I think that was a rehearsal, and I was on stage, and I was getting hated and booed at, which was an experience. But to be honest, it built so much fire in me. Going to Eurovision, I prepared myself for something like this to happen. Like, I knew I was going to be hated. There was going to be something negative going around and stuff like that. But I thought my in-ears, I perform with in-ears, they would block out the noise. I was very positive about that. They're pretty soundproof. So if I put them on right now, I won't hear you guys, like very faintly. But I was very wrong because like after the first rehearsal with the audience, I remember not hearing myself, only hearing like the boos and the screams and the yellings, and it was a mix. There was a lot of boos, which were very prominent, but there was also like the people trying to like shut them up and yelling. Right. So it just became like this massive mess of screaming and I don't know what. So yeah, after the first performance, I was a bit like,
were you scared?
I wasn't scared. I was shocked a bit.
Yeah.
Like it truly, like I don't get how people like get to that level, but it's fine. It's their choice. It was my choice what I would do with it. And I turned it into my power. It gave me, at one point, it just lit something up in me. And I was like, yes, yell at me. Say whatever the hell you want. Like, and I think what pissed them off even more is the fact that I didn't care.
Right.
I just didn't care. It didn't affect me. I was so like focused and centered and there to do what I know how to do best and represent my country and the entire nation as good as I can. And I just didn't care what was going on around. So but it's crazy to watch this back. Truly, it's crazy. Like I'm like, I was there. that is me.
Are you like 3 weeks that girl? Ago, that must be horrible.
I'm like, what? Yeah. No, like truly, it's shocking to look back and I'm like, it puts everything into perspective way more than when I was like in there because I was so focused and kind of like blocking out everything around me, like taking care of myself. So it is an experience to watch back these videos.
Well, of course there was this rehearsal, but there's also these pictures. It looks like a mob in Malmo. You have Greta Thunberg getting arrested. There was sort of like a lot of chatter of like, are they outside her hotel? Like it was so intense. What information were you getting at that point? What did you hear about the level of security concern?
The security concern was there. I knew what was going around. I heard of it, but I didn't personally see anything because I was just not allowed to leave the hotel, leave the arena. Like the security, they did everything to take care of me. So I felt truly safe. They did their job amazingly. And I'm grateful for the Israeli security forces and the Swedish security forces who took care of me and the entire delegation for making this trip like safe and letting me focus on what I need to do.
It didn't even, you were like insulated from that, it sounds like.
Yes, of course. Before and after, there's always thoughts. Like I'm a human being. Every one of us is like human and like things can go through your head. But I felt safe in their hands.
I read that there was like Denmark and Norway had to pitch in for the security of Sweden. And it's like, how many countries does it take to protect a 100-pound singer? It's like, this is insane.
I read that. I also saw that somewhere on the internet. We had like president level. It was crazy. It's an experience of itself. Yeah.
And then you have people within the competition actually kind of twisting the knife, being rude. I mean, you have Bambi Thug say they cried when you learned you made it to the finals. There's someone who pretends to fall asleep at your press conference. They're putting flags over their face. I think the most sort of like credible moment was when I believe it was a Polish reporter said, are you putting other people at danger by being here? And there's sort of a moment in the room where it's like, what?
Have you ever felt that by being here, you bring risk and danger for other participants and public?
And what was going through your head when you get that question?
I do think it was quite inappropriate.
Yeah.
Like, it has nothing to do with why we're truly here. I personally... EBU took all safety precautions to make it safe for everyone. Like, we wouldn't be there if it wasn't safe and I would put a risk. And at the end of the day, I was the one with security. I was the one who couldn't go out of the hotel.
Right.
I was the one who couldn't move around freely. So if we're already talking about it, I had like safety risks and stuff like that. But I don't know. I felt the need to answer it and I answered it with what I thought. And I still think it's the truth.
I think we're all here for one reason and one reason only. And the EBU is taking all safety precautions to make this a safe and united place for everyone. And so I think it's safe for everyone and we wouldn't be here for any other reason.
I mean, what I said back there, I truly stand behind it. And I had the option not to answer, but I didn't see that as an option. I wanted to answer and say what I think.
I want to understand, I want to take a step back and understand how you got to be this sort of like confident and secure in yourself. How long have you been singing?
Oh, I've been singing since the age of 9. Yeah, it started out as I want to sing.
Right.
And my mom would say, what are you talking about? Sing in the shower.
Yeah.
You have no chance. Like, you sing like any other child.
You're like, I want to be a singer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I proved her wrong. It just somehow it started like rolling and growing. And I was on my first TV show. And then I was at The Voice Kids, the finals. And then I got signed by a producer in a girl pop group. Things just started moving.
You're kind of growing, you're singing competitively, you're singing in public, you're singing professionally. You're really dedicated to this. And then at the same time, I want you to talk to me about your identities as a Jewish and an Israeli woman. And specifically, when did those things become something that you understood that other people didn't like very much? Was that in Russia?
I definitely experienced that in Russia. I think due to my age, I didn't truly understand the meaning everything had behind it, like in school and getting told to change my name because it's too Israeli and like I won't make it in Moscow with such a name.
What were they like?
Whiteboard.
You should be Svetlana? Like what were
yeah, like if you would be like Masha something, then you would have a chance. And like at school on whiteboards, like kids would draw like Jews and like a poop emoji, but I didn't. I was naive. I was a child. I didn't understand like what's going on in the world to that extent. And like, yeah, now I look back at it and I'm like, it's very clear to me. I was always an outsider there. I was always that Israeli Jewish girl.
And you moved back to Israel right after the Russian invasion into Ukraine. Your mother's from Ukraine.
Yeah, my mom was born in Ukraine. She left with her family to Israel. I don't remember why. It was at a young age. Then her father ended up moving back, and he was there till like last year. Sadly he passed away. But up till then he was there. Her brother is there. Now because of the war, they kind of like moved to Poland.
You come back to Israel, you're 17 or 18.
18. I came back and I started from zero. Like I had nothing, nada. So like my views on a good day, I would get 100 views and maybe 2 likes.
Right.
And that would make me like, it's hard filming like content every single day and just not seeing a result. And then one day I was like, I had this one demo laying around for like a year. And I was like, I have nothing to lose, like literally nothing to lose. I made a video, posted it on TikTok. It blew up. I got several offers on the table, and that's when I signed with my company, Session 42.
Okay.
And then very shortly after that, the Akochav Haba, the next star, the show I participated in started, and the rest is history from then.
The rest is the history of Israel, because right before you started filming is October 7th.
At one point, we even thought like it won't happen. The show won't happen. The shootings got canceled and delayed and moved. And it was just this constant loop of a question mark. Like we didn't know what was going on, what would happen. But it did happen. It was a different format. And of course, we couldn't do a happy dance singing show. But this year it had a different meaning. Even the show, I remember after my first audition, I sang Rise Up. And it was such a moment of light and hope, I feel like. After it got aired, I got so many messages of like people saying, like, I'm going through such a hard time right now. Like, and you just gave me this fresh breath of air and some like hope and positivity that we'll rise up and things will get a bit better. And I just felt like I did something. I helped. I made someone's day a tiny bit better in these like dark and horrible days that I don't wish anyone to ever experience. 24/7, there are news about the war and sirens and all of that. And then there was this 1 hour of something else where people could, it's very weird to say it because we couldn't really escape from what was going on, from reality. You can't really escape, but it was a second to like make something good for your soul because it's traumatizing. We went through something truly unexplainable.
Where were you on October 7th?
Wow. I was at home, in my bed. I think like most of
In Tel Aviv?
Israelis, in Tel Aviv, most of the Israelis other than our fellow friends that were at the Nova Festival. I didn't understand what it was at first because I personally don't think I've ever experienced sirens prior to that. Like I woke up, I filmed myself, I was like,
what's going on?
What is this?
Yeah.
And then I remember running up to my parents and I'm like, what is this? And they're like, oh, it's a siren. All good. Go back to sleep. And that's the crazy thing. We Israelis, when there is a siren, oh, it's all fine. The Iron Dome will do its job. Like we're so like neutral to it. But we didn't understand the extent of this time. It wasn't just another siren. I remember we opened our phones. We started like looking through the news. We saw that terrorists invaded and like we just started sinking into this dark reality. Nothing will ever be the same. It's just crazy to think that it's been more than half a year, nearly a year and a few months.
Yeah.
And we're still in this. There's still hostages, people dying and both died. I don't want to see people dying on any side, but it's just, I can't wrap my head around it. Like it's sad.
It's almost like it's been October 7th since October 7th.
Yeah,
like
it's just been October 7th.
Do you think that's common? That people after October 7th, people who were maybe at the Nova Festival, but maybe just regular Israelis feel like, okay, everything's different now and I have to orient my life differently?
Yes, I feel like we found, I mean, I cannot speak for everyone, but I feel like something switched the meaning of our existence. And I've never felt prouder to be Jewish and Israeli and to share my voice and to be who I am in front of the entire world and fight for a better place for everyone,
Greta Thunberg, God bless her, she accused Israel of using you to art wash themselves. If she was sitting here, what would you say to her? If she said, you're a tool of the Israeli government to make them look better.
I'm not. I'm Eden.
Yeah.
I'm a singer. Yes, I was representing my country, which is, it's something huge and an honor, but I'm not the face of everything that's going on. I'm just a 20-year-old girl singing, trying to do what I love.
When you think of your art, when you think of your music, do you think of it as something to provide hope for people? Do you ever think of it as a political act, or how do you like approach that? Because I think a lot of people think, you know, can the art be separated from the artist? Can music ever be apolitical? And I wonder if you ever think about those things.
So I definitely think all forms of art and creativity, it's very personal to the person. I personally love to speak my soul and my life, my journey. I mean, October Rain, in my opinion, it has nothing political. It talks about the pain and everything, but Eurovision didn't approve it.
I'm still wet from this October rain.
Eurovision made it clear that there has to be nothing political. So when they said there was something, we took everything and we changed it.
Right. So for those who don't know, you submitted a song called October Rain.
Yes.
The woman who wrote it said it was about her divorce, but she had also visited a kibbutz where that had just been totally decimated. And you basically got word that you weren't going to be able to participate if you use this song.
Yeah.
At that point, are you thinking we shouldn't participate? Or are you thinking,
no,
let's change it? What was the approach
I was thinking,
there?
let's change it. I think it's so important for us. It was so important for us to participate this year in Eurovision and just stand there and share our voice. And I was willing to do whatever it took to make it happen. So we did end up getting in the studio and changing it and changing the lyrics. Other people decided to bring messages, hidden things, and turned everything political, but it was never it for me.
So many people your age, you're 20, they're incensed about the war. Do you think all of those people are anti-Semites? Do you think all of those people are misinformed? What's your like generous read of, you know, a young woman like you in Sweden who said Eden shouldn't be able to participate in this?
I think they're just ignorant. We believe most of the things we see on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, we don't even like go search anything up. We just like whatever we see on TikTok, we assume it's true. And I think that plays a huge role in everything that's going on around. It's more what the internet is talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I just wish people took a second to understand and to learn.
I want to go back to the performance to kind of bring us back. You enter Malmo kind of knowing that it's going to be different. I'm sure you were reading online that people wanted to disqualify you. Are you like pounding Xanax before you get on the plane? Like, what was it like approaching the country?
I didn't get to that point. I don't know how, but I managed to stay somewhat calm.
Yeah.
Like, throughout the entire journey, like, I didn't have a breaking point. I was very focused and centered, and I didn't let the things around affect me or move me off track. And it's a lot of self-work. I don't think it's something that just came to me and like this. Definitely not. Definitely not. It's something that I worked like months, weeks prior, preparing myself, like different situations. And not only that, it's something throughout life. I've been through different situations, been through bullying, anti-Semitism, and like kind of built me to be who I am and know how to control my feelings and what to take deep to heart and what to just put away and not like give my attention to. And I think that's kind of what navigated me through this journey, was just being me and going forward. And like I think horses, no, who
horses, like
horses?
blinders.
Like a horse.
Yeah, like a horse.
With blinders, just going forward and not looking back and around.
And when you were talking yourself like, okay, if this happens, here's what I'm going to do. Can you give me an example of something like that? Like if they cut my music or something?
I was thinking the situations like I was thinking about, it was like, what if I get thrown at on stage? Like, what if I get run? Like, what if someone attacks me?
Yeah.
What if this and that? So I had different I mean, it's delusional things. I don't think anything like that would have happened because it was so secured. And but you know, it's just like overthinking. Any person does.
What did the actual performance feel like? Like the actual final performance, you're in this gorgeous gown, your dancers are amazing. Are you just on autopilot at that point, or like?
It felt amazing. I remember going off stage and I was like, I want more.
Yeah, really?
I want more, yes. And people are like, with the booze, yes. I'm like, yes, I want more. It just brings me life. I feel home on stage. I feel like, I don't know, nothing can stop me. And I just enjoyed every second of it. Like with everyone, with everything that was happening around it, I managed to go on stage and truly enjoy this once in a lifetime experience.
Then you find out you get in fifth. And did you expect that? What were you like? Did you kind of think?
I had no expectations.
Oh, really?
Like I went in there with no expectations just because like I'm not naive. I know what's going on in the world, and whatever the result would have been, I would have been like over the moon happy with it. Of course, fifth place is even better than I could have ever imagined. But I was so heartwarmed and amazed by the results because the televotes were amazing.
You came in second in the televote.
Second, and we got a lot of du spoil from other countries, and it was amazing to see the amount of support we're getting from around the world and people. And it truly, I feel like it gave so much hope to our people. It just opened our eyes and showed us that there are people who maybe not even support us, but are there for music. And despite different beliefs or opinions and everything, they focused on what we were there for for music and not other stuff.
The media and what we might read on Twitter is no one wants Eden to perform. And then the people who are voting at home are totally behind you.
Yeah, I think it was a very like black and white situation, like getting like mostly 0 points from the judges.
Yeah.
Which I hoped till the very last second, knowing that something like that could still happen.
Yeah.
I still hoped and wanted to believe that everyone was there for music and that they wouldn't let politics get in the way. So yeah, just seeing like such a like jumping with the televotes, it was amazing.
323 points.
It was amazing. It was just like going opposite of what everyone said.
But then you came back to Israel. It was like a hero's welcome.
Wow.
I mean, the pilot was giving you flowers.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
what was that like?
I could have never imagined. My parents, like when I talked to them through, like on the phone and when I was in Malmo, they were like, Eden, you do not understand like what is going on here.
Yeah.
Like the country is crazy about you. Like you're a symbol. You're something so much more than life. I didn't understand the extent of what they were saying. And like the second I landed, it was just so overwhelming. I remember crying that entire day. I cannot thank everyone enough. It's amazing.
Your first performance when you get back is October Rain, and you did it at Hostage Square.
Yeah.
And I want you to describe that performance and how it differed from, you know, the one you did on this big stage. We watched the video of everyone booing you. What was
Somehow,
Yeah.
it was so much harder for me.
And I will not stop making our voice heard in Israel and all over the world until we bring everyone back home safely.
Backstage, I was meeting all these hostage families and talking to them. And I met this girl that her dad is held captive, and she came out of being held in Gaza. And just, I don't know, a girl before me, she went on stage and she spoke about her dad. Going on stage after that and singing, it was such an important moment, but it was so hard. I just like tried not to cry throughout the performance.
Yeah.
I remember going off stage like this, shaking. I never shake after a performance, but I was literally like, I was shaking. I'm just praying for our hostages to come back home now. And this cannot last any longer. It just cannot.
I'm still wet from this October rain. October rain.
This whole kind of 2 months you've had, it's bigger than a music competition. It's bigger than if you hit the right note or what the lyrics are of the song. And you sent a strong message just by being there, by holding the flag. I just feel like so many people would have found any moment, a fair moment to say, I'm not doing this. I'm too scared. I have no interest in being a lightning rod. I don't want people to like, you know, hate me or whatever it is. That never crossed your mind?
No.
What message were you trying to send? Because there's so many messages that you are saying by being there, but what is the one you wanted to give?
First and foremost, I was there for the music. I wanted to truly show people that music is its own different world. It speaks on its own, it has its own language, and it touches people. They don't have to speak the same language and people can still feel something. And I truly wanted on these 3 minutes I had on stage to make people disconnect and forget about their troubles, their beliefs,
Right.
their opinions, and just make them like be in the moment and feel something and enjoy and connect and unite together with this beautiful thing called music. It's something I just want people to understand and see more, and I tried my best to do that, and I will continue sharing my voice to try do that.
What's next for you?
Music. Doing more music, sharing my music. I've actually been in sessions in LA and making music.
When can we expect it?
Very soon.
Very soon. It's a single?
Very soon. Yes, a single. Eventually there'll be an album, but albums take some time to cook. But yeah, the next thing is a single. I'm very excited for it. Yeah, I hope I can make people experience something again and again and again.
Eden, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure, truly.